Welcome to Leading for Wellness. I'm Liesl Bernard, CEO of Kalan Executive Search. Each week, we'll dive into the journeys of visionary wellness entrepreneurs, uncovering their secrets to success. Get ready for insightful conversation that will inspire you to elevate your business and prioritize your well-being. Let's dive in. Hi, it's my pleasure today to introduce Susan Buckwalter Hartman, a former college athlete, adventure sports enthusiast, and the co-founder of Recoup Drinks, the first regenerative or organic certified clean label and wellness drink on the market. Recoup has gut health benefits with hydration, featuring prebiotic fibers, pressed ginger juice for digestive support, and electrolytes sourced from maple tree water. I'm really excited today to get into our conversation, Susan, to talk about how you started this amazing brand and how it all came about. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yeah. I'd love to start out by, just having you share a little bit about your background and how you came up with this idea for Recoup Beverages.
Sure. So, professionally, my background, I was in consumer products and I did a lot of consumer product development. So, I went to business school. I graduated from Cornell in 2012, and then I had about 6 or 7 years of experience in very traditional brand marketing roles. So, I was at Campbell's Soup for my internship, Unilever, working on Dove and Dove Men Care, and then EOS Products, which is personal care, lip balm, and lotions. And the thing that I loved the most was coming up with ideas for new products, looking at the marketplace, and bringing them to life. So I was able to do that quite a bit. And I was introduced to my co-founder, Siwat. Basically, he was working on a drink, had a really great starting point, but needed some marketing help, needed some product development help. And so over the course of a year, we were talking and I would meet with him occasionally and just give my feedback. And he asked if I would be interested in joining and being co-founder. So after a year of free marketing advice, I took that opportunity to take what he had created in his kitchen and really give it a brand and give it a commercial formula and something that we could scale. And that's how we joined forces to create Recoup.
Amazing. I always think it's kind of nerve-wracking to jump from having a stable career in a big global company like you were at the time, to make the jump to becoming almost a solo entrepreneur. Tell me about your thought process that you went through in order to say, yeah, I'm willing to take this risk and go all in.
Sure. I don't think I knew it would take so long to build the brand. So as much as I had a thought process at the time, I wasn't thinking, oh, and then 6 years from now, I'll still be, an early stage startup. So a very optimistic decision at the time, but also I feel like I was more born to be an entrepreneur than someone to climb the corporate ladder. I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've always had businesses that I was starting as a kid and things like that. So it was a good fit for me to not necessarily be in the traditional corporate track and to be in a position where I get to wear a lot of hats. I get to do a lot of different things, and use my creativity, use my problem solving skills, use the things that I'm really good at in an environment where you can instantly see the results and really be self motivated. So I think it's a great fit for me. It is a huge decision to leave corporate, and my advice for people being now on the other side of it is keep your day job a little bit longer and get to a point where you are profitable, or you have enough traction where you can raise capital, or you're at a really good inflection point. I think I probably left a little bit early, but I also got to have some really amazing experiences over the past 5 years that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So I don't regret it, but I wouldn't necessarily say, just go do it right now if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart to go out there and start a brand, and especially in the beverage space. I think it's so competitive right now. There's so many different functional beverages out there. Um, What's really sets Recoup apart? Because I know you guys are one of the first, certified regenerative organic drinks.
Mhm.
But what does that mean for the average person out there that doesn't quite understand that term?
Sure. So I'll answer your question in two parts. One, what makes Recoup unique, and then two, what does regenerative organic certified mean? So Recoup is differentiated in quite a few ways from the competition. So yes, functional beverage is a crowded marketplace, but there's a lot of bad stuff out there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to stand out on flavor, which we do. We use a functional dose of ginger in every can, so you get a really unique ginger kick. You get this like warm hug from the inside feeling that isn't like anything else out there. We have no added sugar and no stevia or sweeteners, and that is very rare in the drink world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that people care about more and more. So we chose not to add any sweeteners, and we get our sweetness from the juice and a little bit from the maple tree water. So it has a subtle sweetness, a very natural, fresh taste, and that's something that people love. And then the three key ingredients you mentioned: prebiotic fiber. So we deliver 11% of your daily value of fiber, the functional dose of ginger for digestion and inflammation and wellness, and then the maple tree water, really unique ingredient. So when spring hits in New England, the maple trees draw water up from the earth. They naturally filter it through the root system, and they infuse it with minerals from the earth, as well as a little bit of sugar, actually from photosynthesis in the plant. So what comes out when they tap the trees to make maple syrup is actually a filtered water that is high in electrolytes, high in minerals, and you can drink it as is. So they boil that down about 40 times to make syrup. We take that, as its purest form, and we use that as the base for our drink. So that's where we're getting our electrolytes. That's where we're getting a little bit of that residual sugar, and it's just making it a really unique plant-based drink that you can't find anywhere else.
That is so unique. I've never heard of anyone using maple water in any product. How did you come up with that idea, and how did you find out about the nutritional benefits of maple water?
It's it is unique, but it's also been used for thousands of years by different cultures. So Native Americans, indigenous people in the US drank maple tree water. In Korea, it's known as like bone water because it has naturally occurring calcium. So it's not well known, but it's a pretty amazing ingredient that's been around for a long time. My co-founder Siwat, when he was starting to develop his drink, he wanted to use a plant-based water other than coconut water, and so we just started to do the research on that. And we both went to Cornell for our MBAs. He got connected with Cornell's maple tree. They call it the sugar bush. Is where they develop and produce maple syrup and maple water. And he got connected with them and learned just how amazing the ingredient was and developed a relationship with that farmer. And that's the farmer that we still source from today. And the going back to the regenerative organic certified piece, regenerative organic certified means that it basically has a positive climate impact. So you have to be almost fair trade in the fact that you pay your farmers a living wage, you care for the community, you invest into the community, and then there are different ways according to what your ingredients are to be regenerative organic certified. But for us, maple trees are an amazing carbon capture. So a single maple tree captures around 2,000 tons of carbon each year and sequesters that, takes it out of the atmosphere, puts it into the soil, which is great for the soil. And our 10,000 acre maple forest that we work with was actually set to be cut down, and 20% had already been deforested when it was purchased and protected. So the maple tree industry is pulling carbon out of the atmosphere and protecting those ancient forests.
And so that same tree is being used over and over again to, extract the maple tree juice from. Is that correct?
Yes,
So you
maple
don't
tree
actually
water.
have to cut it down to get it
Oh
out,
yeah,
to get it out.
no,
You
it's and it doesn't hurt the trees. They're, as long as there's enough water in the groundwater and in the atmosphere, which in New England is not a problem, then there's no concern for the tree. You can't hurt the tree by taking the maple tree water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that. That's really
I know it's
fascinating.
it's a really cool
Yeah.
ingredient. And to go back a little bit, I talked kind of my career background, but the impetus for starting Recoup for Siwat was really based in his own healthcare and personal experiences. And for me, it's personal as well. So as a college athlete, I was always looking for healthy hydration. And that's what made me really interested when I met him to, hey, this has these really unique ingredients. It's great for recovery. It's great for hydration. I've been looking for something like this that isn't, doesn't have dyes, doesn't have added sugars, doesn't have all these bad ingredients that you find, especially in sports and hydration drinks. And so that was kind of the trigger for me. For Siwat, he started it because he actually spent the first 3 years of his life in the hospital, was born with a lot of gut health issues, went through 10 major surgeries before he was 12. And he wasn't meant to survive. There's actually a New York Times article about him as a kid, like just on the extent of all the things he had to go through. But his mom was always by his side, and she is Thai, and she would make him these ginger home remedies. And so, growing up, going through surgeries, he was always drinking these ginger drinks as part of his recovery. And he went on, he worked in the hospital that he grew up in and was working with these kids, going through surgeries, seeing the things that he had gone through. And he's like, I wonder if I can bring my mom's ginger recipes to life. So that's where he started. He did the medical research on the benefits of ginger, saw how good it was for the body, saw how it helped with recovery, and then combined it with maple tree water to add the hydration and be plant based. And that's where he was when I met him. Just had developed this amazing drink to help people feel better.
Wow, what an inspirational story. I'm a huge fan of Thailand, have been there probably 7 or 8 times in my life. And I love, the ginger flavor. What are the benefits of maple tree water for our bodies? I know you mentioned calcium, but what other electrolytes and minerals are in there?
Yeah, so naturally occurring calcium, potassium, magnesium. Just blanked for a second.
Okay.
So yeah, naturally occurring electrolytes, bioavailable because it's coming from the plant. It's not like a chalk form, um, and that's just present in the tree water.
That really makes this drink unique because there's so many drinks out there that's water added or coconut water added with a bunch of, ingredients, but this is a complete natural form from the start, which is, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What kind of a sport did you play in college? You said you were, sort of a college level professional athlete. I'm curious.
Not professional. No one ever paid me, but I actually did the heptathlon. So I did 7 events in track and field. So yeah, everything from
That's
jumping to
intense.
throwing to sprinting and hurdling. So I'm naturally, mediocre at everything. So it was a good event for me. I could jump, I could throw. Yeah, and I still do a lot. I still surf and I kiteboard, and I'm still pretty active. And so I think that having something that I feel good, if a high school or college athlete's drinking, or if it's a mom running errands, like it's great just to be well hydrated and be on the go. A lot of times 3 p.m. hits and we go for another cup of coffee, but really our body's probably dehydrated and probably could use something that's actually good for us, and not going to end up with a crash. So Recoup's great for that midday slump as well as something after a workout.
Yeah, I tasted all three of your flavors, and they're amazing. So can highly recommend. And I think it's also you could even have it at night, as a substitute for alcohol because it has that really sophisticated bubble in it
Mm-hmm.
that I really enjoy. So a great drink.
Thank you. I was going to say
So,
we served it at my wedding as a mixer and a mocktail. Um,
oh, I was
so
gonna
yeah,
say it's a good mixer too,
it is.
for
Everyone's like,
alcohol.
"Oh, if you want to be healthy," I'm like, "Or if you don't." Either way. Um,
It's still a better for you alcohol cocktail.
oh my goodness, yeah. A lot of those, even the mocktails on the market, they'll have 16 grams of sugar. And like, I'm not going to drink
Hmm.
16 grams of sugar before bed. So yeah, ours have 5 or 6. They're naturally occurring. They're not added sugar. So yeah, it's a good balance.
Amazing. So, what was the biggest challenge that you guys have faced in starting this brand? And tell me a little bit about that.
So it's been we've iterated our product, and that's something I obviously didn't anticipate that we would need to do so much, but it's listening to the market and being responsive and not just saying I think this is great and I'm going to keep charging ahead no matter what. So when we first launched, we were more positioned as a sports drink. So we were in a bottle, not carbonated, and we had a great cult following, but it was hard to scale, and we weren't quite getting retailers signing on as much as we would want. And so, we sort of what could we do? Could we improve? We iterated label once or twice. And what we realized is a lot of people are taking it and adding it to sparkling water. So they're, using their soda
Mm-hmm.
stream or putting in seltzer. And so we piloted a sparkling version that ended up getting into Erewhon, winning the Specialty Food Association award.
Wow.
And then we said, okay, we've got something here, but let's make sure the calories are in the right place. Let's add fiber. Let's perfect the formula so that we really think that we can win in the market. And this version we launched last June, and this has taken off. This has been picked up where we just launched nationally at Sprouts. So that's 430 something stores across the country, and just really exciting. But from a challenge standpoint, I think the time it takes to get to a great position was longer than expected. And then capital has been a constraint. So we're raising capital right now, and that's helping us really fuel this growth.
Amazing. We'll put the link below where people can reach you so that if anyone is as inspired by you as I am and would be interested in investing, they can reach you there as well.
Sure.
Um, I know it's challenging to be a mom and an entrepreneur and a wife and everything else at the same time. Tell me how you juggle your time and your day, to also be an entrepreneur and co-founder.
Yes. It is challenging. There's a lot of working at night after bedtime, because I want to be present. She's in daycare during the day, but when she gets home from school, I want to be there 100%. And then after she's in bed, I can work a little bit more. It helps to have a really amazing partner. So my husband has been, just a great partner in terms of not expecting all the childcare and all that responsibility to fall on me. He does most of the grocery ordering, he does a lot of the cooking. And so having that balance of roles and expectations and really good communication is clear. So I think that's really important especially if you're already a parent or you're going to be a parent soon, thinking about what life is going to look like with entrepreneurship, knowing that it might take really long hours to get to where you want to be. And it's hard when you don't have a huge team to delegate to. So,
Yeah.
Trying to do that, trying to also carve out time for myself. So I've been playing pickup soccer, and doing like just at least once a week, getting out and playing soccer. And that's been huge. So not just abandoning all your self-care in order to
Yeah.
keep everyone else afloat. You really need to fill your own cup too, and make sure that you're finding things that bring you joy and keep you healthy and keep you balanced.
Absolutely. And I think especially as women, we often let our self-care go a little bit when you do have a family and you are an entrepreneur and everything else. But I think that's the one place, if you continue to invest in yourself and have that balance, you don't burn out as easily. So good for you that you figured that out so
I
early
mean, I
on in the
wouldn't say
process.
it if the laundry is piling up. Like it's not, I'm not running a perfect ship here. But I do think that, you have to look at the long-term picture, and it is a marathon, not a sprint. And so you can't just run yourself into the ground and expect everything to work out. You really need to take the time to do the things that are going to keep you happy and healthy.
Yep, absolutely. And I think just being present with whatever you're doing,
Mm, yeah.
I think is a big help, and when you're present with your child, you're present, and when you're working, and I think that in that way you don't feel like you're pulled in too many different directions. It's, sort of compartment, I can't even say the word.
Compartmentalizing.
Yes,
Yeah.
your life a little bit and your thought process, I think really, really helps.
Yeah.
So what is next for Recoup? What is the big dream? I know you guys when did you launch in all these department stores, and sort of what's the next phase?
So we launched last June. We launched in Wegmans, Erewhon, Jimbo's, and a few other smaller retailers. And then we did a pilot with Sprouts in the fall. We did really, really well in the pilot, so they brought us into the regular set just last week, really. So the big focus right now is doing well with Sprouts. We're on, unfortunately, the bottom shelf in the aisle with the Celsius and other kind of functional beverages, but we are. We'll support that as best we can, and we'll build awareness for that to really drive velocities and to be able to take that story and shop it around. We also, I won't say what retailer, but I had a really great meeting at a really big retailer earlier this week that I flew out to, and we did it in person. And everything is pointing to probably a 200 store pilot there in next year, which would be amazing and a great opportunity for us. So there are some big fish that we're searching for, we're fishing for right now, and that's really the focus. Is let's try to be in some really great strategically aligned accounts, so natural grocery stores, higher end kind of premium stores. And then let's also be in fitness studios and wellness cafes in our key markets, so SoCal and the Northeast right now, to really be at every touch point along that wellness person's day. So if you're going to a yoga class, we're in Moto Yoga in San Diego. We
Mhm.
just added a Pilates studio in Solana Beach. We're at a personal training studio. So being at some of those places where you work out, and then also at the favorite grocery store that you shop, also at your wellness cafe that you might hit up for a snack and a drink in the afternoon running errands. So I think it's important to build the brand, connecting with the community, being in the places where people want to find you, and being an organic brand, being a no added sugar and a wellness brand. I think it resonates with a lot of people, and now it's just getting to talk to them and getting in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's had, premium better for you beverage. Yeah, that's really amazing. Um, what else would you like to share about Recoup that, people might not know about?
I think we're trying to. We talked about we're raising capital. We've been getting some good industry recognition. So we won the BevNet New Beverage Showdown. That was in December. We won the Expo West Pitch Slam. That was,
Wow.
which is huge. I mean, there are 65,000 people at Natural Products Expo West. Every big brand is there. You talk about beverages competitive. I mean, any natural product is amazingly competitive when you realize just how many great brands are out there, and they're all sort of in this trade show together. So yes, we won that pitch slam, and great momentum coming off of that. And now we're actually a finalist in the San Diego Angel Conference. So that's happening June 5th here in San Diego, and really excited to present there. I'll do a 10-minute pitch on stage. They've got a due diligence team that's looking through all of our financials and just getting the whole picture, and they'll present a little bit on whether they would recommend Recoup as an investment. And so that's been a really cool process to be in, and helpful in terms of just overall fundraise. So that's exciting, and it's just great to have, I feel like, the industry behind you. The regenerative organic certified piece also differentiates us quite a bit. It's something that, even though the average person might still be learning about it, the people who know realize that it's one of the most powerful ways to combat climate change. Traditional agriculture accounts for about a third of carbon emissions. And so by moving, even if it's just small amounts, to regenerative agriculture, you're helping to reduce carbon emissions, helping to even reverse carbon emissions in the case of something like maple trees that are capturing carbon. And so it is a really powerful way to combat climate change. And it's something that people are caring about more and more and understanding more
Yeah.
and more. So that's been giving us really a great push in the industry, and helping us build a movement.
That's such a unique feature about your product that I don't think many other products can speak to. So, congratulations for all your success. I have to compliment you. I was at your pitch slam for Naturally San
Yes.
Diego about a month or so ago, and I was so impressed with your presentation, your level of energy on stage, how you looked, and just your presentation in general. tell me a little bit about how you prepared for that, and how you get into that incredible energy space when you're on stage, because when I meet you in person, face to face, you're very vivacious, but you took it to a whole nother level on stage, and I was like, we were blown away.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much. So I do have the benefit. What my first job out of college was traveling around the world, teaching and selling a study skills course. But one of the most important things that I learned in that role was public speaking. And they actually trained us. They recorded us. They counted our ums. They counted our likes, and they drilled it into us to present well and to present in a very poised way. And so I had that training early on. In business school, we also had public speaking training. And again, just being aware of what you're doing with your hands, how you're talking, how you're moving, I think is something that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. And even if you're a good speaker, having an outside person evaluate and give you feedback just helps you take it to another level. And then from an energy standpoint, I mean, that's pure enthusiasm. I'm very excited about what we've built. I'm very proud of what we've built. And I think that genuine passion comes through. I think that,
It does,
if
yeah.
if someone's not the founder and they're trying to tell the story, it's a little bit harder for them. But when it's your baby, it's my it's my first baby.
Mhm.
Now I have a real one. But Recoup is something that I'm passionate about. And I was just at a Sprouts 25 minutes ago this morning, and I'll buy a few and I'll give them out to people. And I think just being like, here's the thing I made. Like, I want you to try it.
You
That's
created that.
real. I'm proud of it. I'm excited to share it. So I think that comes through in the pitch slams, and that's part of why we've been really successful. So we were runner up in that one. We've had a bunch of great wins lately, and I think part of it's the energy and enthusiasm that we have and the passion, and part of it is just we are really a special product, and we're getting recognized for that.
Amazing. Yeah, you are incredible. And I think that's I think one of the benefits of true entrepreneurship is having that passion and having something that you're so incredibly behind in so many ways. It's just, yeah, it's very contagious, and want to congratulate you on just all your success. I bet there's going to be a few people that are listening to this that want to know more about what you guys are doing, and potentially even investing in what you are creating. Can you tell people where they can get a hold of you, and also get your products?
Sure. So we need to be doing better on TikTok, but feel free to follow us on TikTok. We're on Instagram. Just if you're a fan and you want to kind of see what we're doing, if you're interested in reaching out and learning more from an investment standpoint, info@recoupbeverage.com is the easy way to get a hold of us. Or if you have questions on the product, that's kind of the easiest way. And then from a where do you find us standpoint, so in San Diego area, we're in Jimbo's, which has been a great partner. We're now in all the Sprouts. So again, Jimbo's, we're in the cold case. Sprouts, we're in the regular aisle in hydration, energy drink sort of space, bottom shelf. So look for us. And then we're also on campus at SDSU and the Aztec Market, and a few other just different stores and cafes building our presence here. On the East Coast, we're in Wegmans. In LA area, we're in Erewhon and Mother's Market. And so, we're adding stores all the time, but keep an eye out. You can also buy us on Amazon if that's the easiest thing.
Okay,
And
sell on Amazon
and
too.
recoupwellness.com is our website, but I'm happy for people to buy it on Amazon if it's easier.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on all your success, and can't wait to see where you guys go in the next couple of years. I know you'll be a huge success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's been great to get to know you off these events, and so nice to talk to you today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning into Leading for Wellness. This podcast is powered by Kalan Executive Search. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. And to learn more about our services, you can visit us at colonstaffing.com or follow us on Instagram at colonstaffing.